once again like to welcome Mr. Muldoon, Mr. Murphy. Mr. Vito regrets that he will be unable to attend this evening. Out-of-town commitment. And with that, we'll move on with the agenda. First item is to approve minutes for April 30th, the regular executive session, and just as a matter of fact and point, there are not 3 members of the board present who were present at that meeting, so Mr. Muldoon and Mr. Murphy will be able to vote out of the rule of necessity in order to get the minutes approved and signed. We have 2 new members on the board. And then the other one is the May 10th reorganizational meeting where they were present. Accept the motion, Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the April 30th, 2001 regular and executive session minutes and the May 10th, 2001 reorganization meeting minutes as written.
Is there a second? Second. Yeah, okay. Second for purpose of discussion.
Right, but I was only at the reorganization. I wasn't at the...
Same thing again. I'm sorry, I forgot you weren't there too. Right. So by the rule of necessity, we'll have to
vote on them separately.
Yeah, if we do, okay. The chair will divide the motion. Okay, Linda. On the first motion for April 30th, 2001 regular executive session. Once again, have the minutes reflect that Mr. Rowe, Murphy, and Muldoon will be voting under the rule of necessity, as they were not present at the meeting. 2 members were not even members of the board at the time. I was there. So, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Now, May 10th, 2001. And then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Unanimous. Okay, correspondence. Members of the board, and for the new members, we receive before every meeting, this yellow sheet of paper here which has a listing of all the correspondence, hearings that were held, Board of Appeal findings and other hearings and findings. If you would like to look at a copy of any of it, you can ask for it now. If you'd like a copy of any of the correspondence, just take the yellow sheet, circle your name, and whichever correspondence you'd like, circle it, give it to Linda, and you'll have a copy put in your packet. Just in relation to some of the correspondence that we've had, we have some that we're going to have to do some work on. One is we have a resignation of the North Reading Housing Authority. Mr. Delaney has resigned from the North Reading Housing Authority. That position will be filled by a joint appointment of the Board of Selectmen and the Housing Authority at a later date. I believe there's already been a solicitation for applications placed in the transcript, so if anybody is interested in serving on the North Reading Housing Authority, please fill out the requisite forms with the town administrator. You can pick them up at the town clerk's office or the administrator's office, or down at the Housing Authority. If you have any questions, you can contact members of the board or members of the Housing Authority, find out exactly what the responsibilities are. And again, that would be would that be just until the next election, and then it would run for the unexpired term? I don't know when Frank's term was up,
but it's 2005.
2000.
It's a 5-year term, and he was elected, I believe, last year.
Okay, so it would be for the unexpired term.
Right.
5-year term?
Yes, Housing Authority is 5 years.
Okay.
Is it 2005?
May of 2005.
2005. Okay, so a person who gets appointed, if they enjoy the short stint between the time they're appointed and next May, if they choose to run for election for the unexpired term, the term would expire in May 2005. Additionally, we have had some resignations from the school building committee, those that were on the Hood School, Elementary School Building Committee, plus the school department is also seeking members for middle and high school school building committees to formulate some plans for consideration. Again, at the May ballot, the plans for schematic designs were approved, and we're moving forward that for presentation at town meeting at a later date as far as any specific plans for the middle school and the high school. So if you're interested in serving a school building committee for the middle school renovations and or the high school, again, please contact the superintendent's office or the town administrator's office to get in. Again, that is a joint appointment between the Board of Selectmen and the school committee. And so, correspondence. If you'd like to see anything, fine. If you'd just like a copy of it, just give it to Linda. Any other comments or Questions in relation to correspondence? Okay. Right on. Legal bills. Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve legal bills in the amount of $22,765.06 as follows: Copeland and Page, General, $10,048.31. Copeland and Page, Labor, $3,612 even. West Publishing Corp., $708.50. Coppola and Coppola, Tax Title Attorneys, $8,396.25 for a total of $22,765.06.
For the motion, is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay. Second by Mr. Rowe. Discussion. Mr. Rowe.
Yes, I have some questions. On page 2, to draft an opinion letter regarding whether the Board of Health can grant a variance from setback requirements and septic system regulations. I believe that was pretty clear in the law. Why are we getting opinions from town council when it's, I feel it's pretty clear in the law. I think that's one. The other one is on page 4, is all this Route 62 rehabilitation project. Do we get reimbursed for all this? For all this legal fees that we're...
I believe so. We have some, those are the takings? Those are the...
It's easements.
Easements and things?
Impact of, well, it says telephone conference. One thing is language and easements and possible impact on valuation of damages. There's a number of different things. Caruso easement.
Caruso easements are different. That's that one lot down there, I think, isn't it?
Well, there's like 4 different things here under that, and it's all under the Route 62 rehabilitation project.
And we generally put in all our expenses requests into the state regarding the Route 62 project. And if they wish to, if the state agrees to pick up those costs, then the state will pick up the costs.
But no guarantees.
There are no guarantees, but we do the same thing as such as the details, we put the detail costs into the Route 62 project, or in this case, the North and Main project down here. So
Why do we, I think my question is then, why do we do it? If we know we're not going to get reimbursed for it, or we don't know why don't we tell them to do it?
we have to do the takings. The town's responsible for doing the takings for the state.
In other words, the town is on the hook when it comes to the easements and or any takings that they're going to transpire. It's the town of North Reading that's getting the easement, even though it's a county road. So we have to cover ourselves from a legal standpoint, and it's going to incur some costs.
Well, I mean, I think that this, when this 62 rehabilitation project started, I think we should have been made aware of the fact that, it could run into thousands of dollars for the town out of our own pocket for these easements and takings. I mean, I think most people, myself included, figure that whatever that 62 project was going to cost, the state was paying for it. And obviously, they're not. And I think we should have been made aware of that. Well, I shouldn't say obviously they're not. Maybe they will. But I think we should have known beforehand whether in fact they were going to reimburse us for the, for the work that we had to do.
Tom, could you just get us an update on,
Sure.
on that, either through council or through Dave? Dave Handel probably has a pretty good handle on it also, as to where the responsibility lies and then therefore where the expense lies, more importantly.
But as far as, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but as far as the acquisition of easement or property rights for any state road project, the municipality is the one who acquires the rights. It goes through their process. So they are the ones who are technically responsible for making sure the acquisitions are done correctly, and if there's any legal questions, it goes through their legal channels.
On page 7, what is the UCSIC versus town? There's settlement checks and damages and so on and so forth. What is that?
If I recall correctly, I think that's the water treatment plant.
Right. And that is finished, right? I believe
That's finished.
That's finished.
That's finished.
That's finished. So remember the water treatment plant issues that we had in relation to the contractor not meeting the obligations?
And then on the same page, starting the ABCC appeal, why do we have to have council do all this work on that? I thought it was just a matter of, we took our particular stand and we send them the information and they make a decision?
No, well, they had a hearing. Matter of fact, I attended 2 hearings on behalf of the board, and the board voted not to issue the beer and wine license to Route 28 Convenience.
Right.
That was the decision of the board. The applicant then had the opportunity to either accept the decision of the board or appeal it. The applicant chose to appeal the decision of the local board, which was us, take it to the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission in Boston, whereby they scheduled a hearing. They scheduled a hearing, we went in, and that was back in, was it March, the first one? I forget, March or April, and the applicants were not prepared, did not have counsel representing them. The ABCC generally tends to err in favor of people appealing, and basically gave them another opportunity to come before them with counsel, agree that they have to stipulate to certain facts prior to going before the ABCC. That was not done at the first hearing because the applicant failed to do it. And then we had a second hearing, I forget when it was.
April 19th.
April 19th, we had a second hearing. We were in there where they were represented by counsel, as we were. Their counsel presented their side of the argument and reasons as to why they thought we did not act within the confines of our authority. Town council presented the town side as to why and how the board did act within their authority, and so we had to go and defend our position. And that was just because the applicant decided they didn't like the decision. I mean, otherwise, you just go in there, and if you don't show up, then you defer. If you don't defend your position.
Why do we have to have the attorney show up? Why can't we? I mean, to me, it seems fairly
Who's going to go in and do it?
Town administrator.
I don't think that the town administrator is necessarily the most appropriate person to do that. I mean, this is a matter of law and conjecture. That's why we have town council. I have no problem with town council going in and defending a decision of this board before a state regulatory body. I think that's their job. And personally, I think they did a very good job of doing it too. It's not very often that our decisions get appealed. And as it turns out, if the town administrator will report later on, the decision did come down in favor of the Board of Selectmen's action in upholding our decision to deny the license. But we had to go in there twice. It can only be one trip because the appellant wasn't prepared. We had to go back twice.
Okay.
Any other questions on legal bills? Hearing none. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Unanimous. Let's go to business. Re-precincting per federal census. This is stats, town clerk. And before we get into that, members of the board were presented this evening with a code of the town of North Reading, which is a codification of the bylaws, general bylaws, charter,
special acts.
and this has been a long time coming, and a project that I knew you undertook when you first took over the clerk's job, and you're to be congratulated for the effort that was put in, and the people in your department too, because it was an awful lot of work, and it's going to be a working document, which is going to be nice and easy to change, and everybody can keep it up to date quickly, and we won't have any crossed out things. And I'm sorry, Bob, we won't have copies of your legal notices and the transcript anymore, maybe.
It's too bad, an era, the end of an era.
The end of an era, yes, the end of an era. But it's going to be a great working document for all parties concerned.
I think so. I think we will all enjoy it and find it very easy to reference. So it will be a great tool for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's with the complete support of the town administrator and the board, that we went forward with this. So it was a great.
It was like